Well, good morning. Bazz8 is getting a bit of a makeover. A few weeks ago, my trusty D34 yellow top battery actually tossed one of these clean off. So it just sort of sits in there like so. And surprise, surprise, I don't know how long it had been broken, except for the fact that I decided to use it to jump start a friend's car. Pulled the lug, pulled the actual clamp off, and this just was sitting there. Now, part of the reason for that was the copious amount of wires that were actually in the on the actual yellow top battery. So the best thing for me to do is actually just show you a bit of a picture, and pretty amazing under pictures, and it's pretty wild and woolly, but there it is there. So you can actually see really closely just how much wiring was on there. So if we turn it that way, maybe that's better, but you can actually see, and it was the bottom terminal. And this has been in the car for 7 years, and in that 7 years we've had no real trouble. So what have I replaced it with? An Itech lithium battery, which everyone will say you can't fit, but I managed to fit it. So what I had to do was actually rearrange the battery tray. It's a Piranha battery tray, and actually shift it 25mm this way, 5mm this way, and 25mm that way. And that meant that I had to take a tiny little bit of scribing just here, and I end up fitting nicely into the round through here. Created a couple of bus bars, and that was another story all in itself. The bus bars I bought had very small holes in it, and I couldn't actually fit these nicely. I now do have that, and so we have an arrangement of stuff. We've got a solar panel feed that actually goes to a Redarc BC to DC 1225D. I've had this in the car for about 4 years, and in that 4-year period has always run on profile A, and only recently I've changed it over to profile Li lithium. Okay, so that's our steps, and today the addition to it, I've always known how much charge I've got going into here, but I've never really known temperature, amps, or anything like that. Don't ask me about watts, because the only thing I know about watt is what did you do, and not about watts in electrical. So we had one feed here that runs to our Anderson plug, and I have an ultimate camper which is just here, and inside the ultimate camper is a full version, full Redarc system, Red Vision, and a couple of lithium batteries in here. And so both of these tie in pretty well, but has not always been plain sailing. We've had our fair share of issues. So we've got an isolator down here, and its job is basically to tie these two batteries together. I'm a little bit nervous about that, but in actual fact, in 6 years that I've had this car, I've only ever had to isolate and or connect the two batteries together to start, and that was once when I ran it flat, when I was actually doing some work to the car. And the second battery that I bought, because I thought this one was dead, and this one came out of the shed and had been being charged off of a charging profile, and now works fine. And so this is the original start battery that is in the car. So this is our feed for the BC to DC charger, 100 amp fuse. There's also a 30 amp fuse here, which was the original, and we actually have a blue wire coming off somewhere into there, which Mark, my auto electrician, actually put that together. So down the back, just to give an overview of what I'm trying to do, this is our main power to the Alti, straight through here. These are all the indicators and lights and everything else like that. And notwithstanding, we had a few issues with that area, but the other part that's really critical is that we have a 90 litre fridge, and basically that runs off here, and I've got to get some more tape for my little meter because I have another battery. And so underneath the back of the actual floor, okay, I have a Itech World Lithium. I've had that underneath the car now for almost 2.25 years, something like that. It actually runs the air pump, and it also runs the actual 90 litre Waco fridge, which has been really great. And all I was ever concerned about was did I have voltage, did I have charge, and if I wanted to find out whether I had that, I'd either do this, and there it is, 100%. Okay, 13.4 volts. And up the top here we actually have our solar panel, which I managed to actually feed off of here straight down through underneath this cover corner. And now the new place where I'm going to be fitting the actual new Redarc manager over here, and I guess I'll call it its proper name. Okay, smart battery monitor. It's expensive, 300 bucks, but because I have a Redarc system, I'm pretty more stuck in that area, and this is where I've mounted it, right in underneath here. They say that you're not supposed to actually have this underneath the bonnet, and so what I'm going to do is actually run a lead through the gland, and which means I have to remove that battery and all the work I've done there, run this through, and then connect up to my Red Vision app. So when I've got a bit further on, we'll come back to the video. So this is the drop-in replacement for the yellow top battery. So this is the Itech 120X, and it also is a 105 amp hour. Now the huge difference between 105 amp hours and the 55 that I got. So this is my set out, and right down there I have to actually put a couple of wires through that gland, so you can actually see through there. Probably I need to use the light again. Had to disconnect a few wires. Basically down there, that's where the gland is. So I'm going to run run the actual earth back to the battery manager, and then actually refit everything. So you can see two wires already running through there. They actually run through to the lithium battery underneath my false floor. Handy little trick I do here, where I just basically tie everything up and no power gets in the way and I don't zap myself. So I had to actually shift the earth down to here, and then the rest of it, the actual tray is really solid as anything. And back the other way, I had to pack it out, so I'm choosing whether to use this point here as an earth point, or even this point here, might be this one here, as an earth for the unit, and then that will set me on its way. Underneath this, I found that it was too tight. The battery wedged into the Piranha frame, and so what I did is I used a bit of 15mm foam panel, which we use domestically for houses, and here it is here. And basically this is actually fireproof, okay, used for housing, but basically all I wanted it for was actually it's soft, so therefore any vibration gets taken by that. My initial idea of using these poles has turned to be hopeless, so they're going, and all my wiring is just going to come to a flat point off of here, rather than this raised section. Thought it was pretty good at the time, but like everything, until you try it, you don't know. So there goes another $15 or $20. Alright, do a bit more and I'll come back. Okay, fast forward, and we've managed to actually get the leads through. I had to actually push them from inside the engine bay, and what I used was an old fishing blank, and that was pointy enough to actually go through the cable connector for the Redarc tool. It went straight inside here, and then I put the other two lengths and went straight through the gland, and that worked out much better. Taped the whole lot together, and now what we actually have, if I just put that on, you can actually see straight through there that we've got the gland. And I tried the other side and there was an obstruction, so I had to actually use this one, and now we've got two through there, plus this little fella that actually connects up to the positive. So I'd have Buckley's show of getting that through a gland. One video I watched, a chap managed to do it, but he would have had to make a huge hole. Okay, so soldering time, won't bore you with that, and all for now. So there we have it. The unit is actually connected, wiring is through here. It's all negative wires, not positive, so no big deal. Bit of a battle getting the wires up to here, but we managed to get it all through in one hit. And these are the wires that actually go down to the back of the car and pick up the other lithium battery. Okay, so now we have over here, you can see our gland. Here's our positive connection here. Okay, so this side, okay, is the negative, and this side is the ground. So that'll be the next job. So when I get that done, probably looking at fitting the ground either to that particular bolt or that particular bolt. Where I had to shift it 25mm, probably use the one that's actually holding to the firewall. They both are really, and then that will actually give me the negative and or the ground, and then we can worry about the negative to the battery. Interesting, where the yellow top battery sat for 6 years, you can see the actual slight movement, and also where I couldn't connect the bottom of the battery box because I've actually shifted it across and over from that position, but all good. Okay, so we've got our battery pole. This one here, I bought these thinking that they would be much better than lead, but it proved to be that there was a knurl in behind or just above the thread, and one snapped. This one, we've got a bolt coming right through from top to bottom, and that's no drama at all, although we're not actually putting a pole around here. Through here, and I need to grab my torch, which I always forget. And so here we have it. There's the wires down there. There is a little bit of leftover cable tie here, and then basically in here we can see where the wires come through. This is actually the negative, and over here is actually the earth all completed, as much as I can see it, and my eyes aren't too good, but I can actually see that going through there. So we've got our tray. It's actually sitting in position and is still as solid as a rock. It's amazing just how well this thing was built. Okay, so next tie is to actually go through, put the battery back in, and then we've got our other wire over here and a couple of others, and we're looking the goods. Well, there you have it. So it's taken a little while, but this is actually the interface. The car hasn't started yet. No flashing lights. In underneath here is all of our work, and that's looking pretty good. And the great fun job was getting this wire into here, and also the battery monitor. So the earth is in here. All these wires are all set up, they're tight, firm, and there we have it. It's actually up and sorted. So the only thing that concerns me, having a red vision system on the Alti over here, at the moment it shows you can either open one or the other. Now I'm not 100% sure on that, and I'll have to ring up Redarc, but what I would like to do is have actually monitoring both at the same time. So once the red vision is operating, then it picks up the other parts. But all in all, a good morning's work. Now the worst part, put away all the stuff, and a lot of soldering, and put a bit of rubber over here, only because it's very, very close to the positive terminal, and yeah, there's not much room. So fair to say. Alright, so 14.10 volts going straight into the battery, 5.9 amps and 24 degrees. That's the bit I'm looking for. So currently, alright, it's car's warmed, and there's no warning lights on the dash, except for the fact that we got the back door open, but the rest of it, pretty happy. So while it's charging, it's taken in 14.5 volts. I do know that when it actually, the battery fills, the lithium will drop this back to about 13.6. So I have actually seen that already, just using a meter. Alright, so Redarc Smart Battery Monitor. The fact that you can't work this unit in an engine bay may be a negative to some people, but for me, I could fit it underneath the car, and essentially all I've got is it only weighs 400 grams, and I have it underneath one of the plastic panels. It's got 3 supports and 4 supports across the front, so I don't think it's going to go anywhere. So main charge battery over here, 14.2, so that's what goes into the starting battery. And I've had this, would you believe, David Dash put one of these up eons ago, and I've had this for 7 years. Tells me what the temperature is. I usually run a couple of USBs, and the rest of it is all tickety-boo. Alright, so now we're dropping back to 14.4 and 14.7, no amps, so it's chockers. So now what I have to do is drive it around a bit, I think, and it will finally get the idea that I'm actually here, and that's our job done. Alright, so battery status, ooh, So 0.10 of an amp has actually disappeared, and we'll just have to find out what's going on there. Alright, all